Today's interview is with Hugh Byrne, and it's on behalf of the Accidental Archivist project funded by the National Lottery Heritage Fund. Alongside Hugh is Linda Farrell from 33, and we're going to talk about the early days at 33 and the growth of different projects. Anyway, Hughie, so you're a Luton person, are you?
Yeah, born and bred Luton, St Mary's Hospital.
Blimey, and without delving too deeply, how old are you now?
I'm nearly 60.
So you got involved through 33 at what time of your life? Was that later in life, or?
It was kind of, I'll say earlier in my life, more 89, 90, around that time.
89, so the old 33 had been going for 10 years or so, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. And how did you get involved there to start with?
I had a bit of a shady past, as in when I was younger. A lot of things were going on in our areas. There wasn't much employment, or employment was really crap. So people were getting into trouble. I got into trouble, got probation and stuff like that. But I wanted to pull out of that scene because it's a vicious circle, very difficult to pull out, believe it or not. And I was so determined, so I searched around the town for somewhere, because I was into painting and drawing as a person anyway, and I searched around the town to find somewhere to break that monotony, to get into somewhere a little bit more, somewhere accepting. And when I approached 33, my first approach was with an exhibition in the cafe.
What, a photographic exhibition?
No, this was paintings. This was my. I used to do a mix of oil painting. It was a mix of everything, some pencil pictures and stuff. But to my surprise, I sold a few of the pictures in there, which was the first time I ever sold any pictures. And I think I was doing photography because at the time I was going out with this photographer, a woman who was a local press photographer, and she actually taught me the basics of black and white printing and processing and stuff. So I had a skill base that was, when I came to 33, it actually helped me in my state and situation anyway. But I found 33 was like was a door open that nowhere else was open. So it actually sort of kind of changed my life in a different direction from where I was going, which was really good. So I was there for quite a while.
Yeah. Did it help that it was in the town centre as opposed to?
Yeah, it was the best thing for it. Was in the town centre because a lot of the life that I was living was around the town centre, but there was no escape route. Like 33 was a brilliant escape route.
Yeah, because most of the old kind of youth clubs and stuff were all on the estates, weren't they? I think.
Yeah, a lot of them were on the estates. You had the youth house I used to go to when I was when I was at school times, and they used to have funky nights that were brilliant. But that slowed right down, and there wasn't enough going on. Like on a disco for what you want when you get older. You want something more, creative and stuff. So that's why I came to 33.
So your involvement with photography was before digital stuff, wasn't it?
When I was doing photo montage, I was doing photo montage way before Photoshop and stuff like that. But the coincidence with what I was doing and Photoshop was I was blowing pictures up on the enlarger to fit the picture, and then once I've laid down a montage, I rephotographed it so it comes onto one layer, so you can print off many layers to sell as prints, which was quite a good thing. And they looked like early Photoshop pictures, even though they were done like around.
Yeah, because rephotographing it was like nowadays you'd flatten the image and all that.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So clever stuff in those days with.
Yeah, in them days.
In those days, and then. You got involved, didn't you, with the darkroom? I'm not sure about the history of the darkroom. I can't remember.
With me, there was. I went upstairs. I'd done a few because I started doing other exhibitions in the cafeteria, and I was getting more into my photography than the painting because I liked it more. I liked the photography, and so I became more intense on learning black and white printing, development and everything. So I kind of cut a really good skill, and then I ended up getting a little wage, which was brilliant for me at the time, to work in the darkroom, which was excellent. So yeah, and it all developed from there.
So you did some kind of education, passing on the skills.
Passing on skills.
Yeah.
I was teaching other people how to develop films. I mean, I had a whole class of about 8 or 9, is about the numbers you could fit in the darkroom at the time, and it was every day I had a different class with people. That wasn't regularly. That was like little projects that we used to sort of get into. And then I had a room I had at the back of 33, and then I turned it into a studio.
Is that the old dilapidated?
Yeah.
Down in that old warehouse.
In the whole,
bit, wasn't
that's
it?
it.
Yeah.
And that was a really good place because it was old and dilapidated. I was free. It was like a clean canvas. You could do what you want in there, and we did. We've done loads of crazy photo shoots. I met sorry, I met a group from Exodus when I first met them, and they came in, and we'd done loads of photo shoots with them. Loads of different groups of people doing their own thing. I was getting involved with, and we're just doing photo shoots, doing creative, arty, stuff. It was quite interesting.
And was that sort of built on all the kind of people that you met that just wandered into the arts industry?
Mostly, a lot of them were curious, just like when I first wandered in, and they were in the same boat as I was. They wander in, and I thought, let's give them something to do, because that's the hook and the trigger that gets people more interested, which it worked. I mean, there was a lot of people that showed a lot of interest. So
yeah, because I think one of the benefits of 33 at the time, there was not really a hierarchy, was there? People just got on with it.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's a fun place to be. It's some of the most friendliest faces and people you'll meet in Luton at the time.
Yeah, at the time it was a bit of an oasis, wasn't it, for people at the time. And then bit by bit, I've been paid there to do that work, and then that drifted into other things, didn't it, later on?
Yeah, I ended up on my skills based from the darkroom, freelancing for the local press. Yeah. I've done loads I was doing portfolios. I was seeing this young lady, Amanda, and she was able to drum up business for people who like to get portfolios done for the film industry and stuff like that, which was really good. And so we've done loads of them. So it was basically creating a little income for us. So
and that
which was good.
Film, wasn't it, still?
Yeah. So
I remember a project that you did, and I think it was before Snap, but it was probably the start of it, where you worked with a lot of drug users about drug things.
Right, yeah.
And I remember one particular poster that you did caused quite a controversy.
The one with the cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of that. So that was another project of working with a different group.
Yeah, that was a really good, really
project,
successful project. That was.
That was before Snap, wasn't it?
I think that was before Snap. Yeah,
it was before Snap.
Yeah.
It was basically a project to do 6 posters, A3 size posters or A2 size, to be put up in like police stations, office. It was drug awareness sort of stuff, and it was ideas coming from the people who take the drugs, who are recovering, because a lot of them were recovering sort of from the life of drugs, and they had some brilliant ideas. And basically, we worked as like an interpreter for their ideas. So no matter how crazy the idea sounded, long as I can put it into a particular context where it makes sense, which it did, and it was very successful for what it was. And it was all black and white pictures, but they were hand tinted. I had to hand tint them all to give them a little bit of bang, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that particular picture that Linda just mentioned, I think we found in the archive a letter from various vicars.
Oh yeah,
about it. I've managed to find all of that.
Oh, fantastic, excellent. Because I had a religious dude come up to me. He was from the council, I think. He started shouting at me. I couldn't have a clue why he was shouting at me. And then I think someone was with me. It might have been Sue. Said, "Oh, he's moaning about the picture." Yeah. And I said, "What, the cross?" And he goes, "Yeah." I thought, "Wow, get over himself." So. And I thought it was a good picture about people self-crucifying. It was that, and it came from someone who takes heroin and stuff. So it was there. I'm not going to tell them we're not going to use your idea. It might offend some religious person.
So that was all pre-Snap then?
Yeah, I think in a way that came because it was looked upon as like this social narcotics awareness project.
Yeah.
And then there was a lot of different things came on from there. But then when we realised that way of working, and Hughie's way of working, and Hughie's particular talent of getting on with difficult to reach young people, made us apply to get money, and we kept the social need narcotics project SNAP, but we called it social needs so that it could look at other issues apart from just drug use, to make it more open,
more encompassing to different groups.
More people come, without the stigma of having to say that was their issue.
Yeah.
So I believe that's how that started.
That's right.
But
yeah.
I also remember before SNAP as well, you did poster projects that I don't know whether it was with that group, but I remember you doing a big one for housing and homelessness.
Oh, Homes for Homelessness.
Yeah, I think it was Shelter, I'm not sure, but one of them used one of your images for their big project poster.
Yeah. That was a project working alongside people who are homeless, and I can't even remember the pictures that we've done. I'm trying to think of the sort of pictures. Oh, yeah.
I remember the young lad sitting down and looking. Yeah, it was quite a powerful image, that. I don't know if you still got, if you have, it would be a good idea.
Good to find them. I might have some of those pictures on transparency, because I photograph a lot of work with transparent sort of film.
It was a big poster, that one, though, I remember.
Yeah, but I think all them posters were A2s.
Yeah, that's right.
So they were quite... that was really popular as well. That was the Homes for Homeless. That was through 33. That was.
Oh, yeah, it was 33.
Yeah.
And I think it was before any of the SNAP projects.
Way before the SNAP projects.
Yeah, it was one of those early ones.
Any idea what year we're talking about?
I say 1989, 1990. Okay. More than 1990, more than likely, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
When did SNAP start then, officially?
It was well into the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I probably can find the paperwork for
I
that.
think 1997, but I'm not sure.
So was that late? Yeah,
it was one of those schemes. We got it through Luton Dunstable Partnership, but it was a particular scheme, if you remember, that we got the money for, and that carried us all through our whole SNAP project.
So the projects, the project that always comes to mind with Hugh is the calendar project. Did that come before SNAP or at the same time?
It was before SNAP.
Yeah, the calendar project before SNAP.
That involved all different sorts of people, because you did that in the evening, wasn't it?
In the evening time.
To allow people who were working during the day to get involved.
I think there was over 130 people total involved in that project. Yeah. Not everyone got photographed, but there was a lot of people wanted to. Anyone who came in goes, "Can I do makeup?" No one was rejected. That's one of our policies. Yeah. Anyone says, "I want to do a bit of clothes and fashion," bang. They didn't necessarily get that picture in the calendar, but they got photos of what they'd done there as well. It was basically. Everyone was really happy who came along. I mean, it was quite a good fun thing. The whole calendar, the ideas and that was just everyone putting their ideas in, and that's how it sort of came about.
Yeah, because I may be wrong, but were the Herald and Post
sponsored us?
They sponsored it.
They sponsored after we had all the pictures.
Yes.
I showed them samples, and they were so impressed, because we were trying to get not a black and white. An A4 originally, the calendar. They were so impressed they put it to an A3 size and printed up a few hundred, over 1,000, wasn't it? But loads of boxes of them.
It's good. It's a good project.
Yeah, it's really good.
It was such a good idea to work on a calendar like that with the zodiac signs, because it gave everybody the different features or their interpretation of what that sign meant, and they had to come up with ideas to communicate that sign, and I thought that was a real interesting part of it, because it got people talking about all the ideas of what it meant.
It kind of opens everyone up, and it gives them it gives them a little bit of thought on how to be creative, basically.
But I mean, it was so obviously pre-digital because of the work of building everything. I particularly remember the one of the girl in the tree.
Oh right,
being built. Whereas digitally you'd have just made that but we actually had to put her in the tree.
She
and fall
collapsed.
down and she collapsed.
Yeah, we had the
because of
smoke.
holding the position for
We
so
had
long.
the smoke machine below her feet, and there was a bit of smoke kept coming up, and she's holding this for ages, this position, and we think that the smoke and her standing like that, just when we're ready to do the shoot, she goes.
Well, she actually fainted. Didn't
Yeah,
she?
it's great. Someone actually caught her properly, so it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean that was a really successful project.
It was very successful, and again, it incorporated other people getting to know the place, different people,
Brought a
opened
lot of
it
people
up
in,
to
yeah.
everything, that it was a place that you could come.
Yeah.
No matter where you came from, what job you did, or anything, if you were just
It was an
interested in
excellent
anything.
social. I mean, to have an art if they had a factory like today, if they had art projects that involved anyone and everyone that comes in there, because I don't feel I can go in there.
Yeah.
I just feel like, no, I don't know why, I just don't feel it. It's not approachable. It looks like an office block.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's got that kind of different vibe, sort of, from what I expect an art centre to have. It's,
It's not easy there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
One of the other things I remember you being involved in as well was at Marsh Farm, with the Marsh Farm riots.
Yeah. When we were doing, I was invited up to do a photo shoot with that guy's. What's his name? Can you remember?
Glenn, do you mean? Or no,
Not Glenn. No. The one we mentioned earlier. Mark Novell. Yeah, he was involved as well. He was up there, so he was like, because he lives up there, so he kind of was my bridge to get up there to do the project. And basically, the idea of the project was all the press was throwing lots of negative stuff about Marsh Farm, how rough it is, and they were setting up pictures to make it look a lot worse than it actually was. And we wanted to show a better side of Marsh Farm, and it was young people who wanted to do it, and they used us to get an image over. So we went up there and done loads of images of young people actually having fun, enjoying themselves, and we didn't take photos of any riot damaged areas at all up there. And the end result was really positive, and that's what our we got the end result we're after, so it was really good.
Yeah, it was just to show the other side of it all, wasn't it?
Exactly, just saying, look, everyone's, this can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
So
yeah, those kinds of those opportunities have died off now a bit, haven't they, in terms of the way people work together.
it's totally different now.
Different compartments, isn't it? The arts and social groups, and it makes it very difficult.
We need another 33.
Another 33 or something similar.
Something that's open to everyone, who gives them all a chance, not this what they got now.
So how did all of that activity then lead into the creation of Snap as we know it, when it became, because other people were employed, weren't they, at that time?
Yeah, well, what happened was, from working with that and the people that Hughie met there, I don't know whether Sue turned up then, but I know that when we got the money, we looked at employing people, and we needed someone to work alongside. Apart from me working at the art centre, we needed another dedicated person who could help with the admin and had some background in that.
Yeah.
So Sue, I think that's when Sue came along, and she'd been to college and done a community or young people's work in, I forget exactly what it was, but I'm sure we'll talk to Sue at the project. And she came on board with that, and we obviously must have advertised for it through the different agencies in Luton, but Sue did most of that in that way, just getting in touch with people and her contacts from her uni days. And we had a good group that came in.
It was brilliant.
And it was, I mean, to me, and probably to you, Hughie, the difference between the people that came in at 33 and got involved because of the freedom of the space, to when we had to move it to the hat factory, a lot of those people just couldn't make that transition.
They couldn't. They wouldn't move across.
The hat factory was
too clinical for them.
It was too clinical. They couldn't come through the door, and when they came through the door at 33, They came into the cafe where they knew people in there.
Much more
And they
relaxed,
just
opening.
felt part of the place. Whereas you walk in there and you had to sign your name.
Yeah,
So, of course, they were just putting Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, but I know it's jumping forward a year or so, but it got even worse when it moved to Tocco, didn't it?
Oh, that was the worst. That is not good.
Yeah, but it moved to Tocco because it was getting impossible at the Hat Factory. So we thought with the new art centre opening up that it would be, you know, because it was for young people. It was a youth thing.
Oh, you mean when Tocco?
When Tocco opened and it was a youth place, and I knew the person who was running it, but again, it was a building that had been put there by the authorities as such and the council, and they were all running it. So the rules came in. I know there's different health and safety rules, but it was the access and the fact that the people on the door didn't know what was going on in the building. So if any new people came to that,
That's exactly right.
they couldn't tell them where to go, and there was no, oh, great.
I was in the reception at one time, and there was a few people who really braved it to come, because to come to the Snap project, they're not the sort of people who've got lots of confidence. They've got very lack of confidence. But I've seen a few people come in to the reception at Tocco and ask for the Snap project, and we were upstairs, we were on a tea break, so I was downstairs. And the reception told them, says, no, it's not open today. And I had to dart over and says, no, it is open, and got them to sign in and went upstairs. But that said to me, that's been happening a lot, because I noticed a decrease in numbers coming into the Tocco, and it wasn't everyone seemed to be happy at the project. So what was causing that decrease? And that was it. The reception was actually blocking people going in. Yeah. But it's only because they didn't know that we were on. That's what the problem was.
That's the problem, and that was what I think made 33 so successful as a centre, because everybody who worked there wanted to be there.
Exactly.
So they all knew what was going on. It was part of, if you like, what they did, to be aware of it. And although it was a smaller place, there was more going on there than ever went on Tocco, so it wasn't anything to do with the number of projects.
But happy days, eh?
Yeah, I mean, everything's so different now, but I must say that, you know, the projects that Hughie did there were ones that did carry over to our move from that start of those projects involving it with photography.
So in terms of your own work, Hugh, how did you make the transition from film and the digital stuff came in?
When I seen you introduced me to a woman from university. I don't know if you can remember. She's black hair, Spanish looking, beautiful woman.
Right.
And she teaches for Photoshop.
Oh, okay.
Can you remember you set up her to teach me a bit of Photoshop?
Yeah.
She got me the basics.
Yeah.
She actually got me sort of onto the Photoshop scene, actually, to learn it. And it was when Photoshop first came out as well. It was the early days Photoshop. I think it was before CS. So Photoshop 1 or whatever it is.
Right. So really basic stuff.
Right at the beginning.
And really slow, wasn't it?
Yeah, terrible. So, but then I took off like a fish, swimming.
I mean, I think everyone realised the work you were doing with Photoshop in those early days
looked like Photoshop, didn't it?
Yeah, but it was really advanced in terms of what other people were doing. I mean,
it was
back now.
Right ahead of the game for a good 10 years, I think.
Because I think in terms of the work you did, and you obviously a bit later you started to do all the old and new Luton photographs, which
on Photoshop. Yeah. That was quite fun doing. I've done a book on that. I've got a book at home, and it's sort of all old and new Luton pictures. Yeah. It's about 40 pictures in there.
So you know, in fact, we'll show some photographs as we're talking about that came from those images, which are really good.
I'm gonna have to grab a few images for you, but it's got a look on my hard drive. See, I should have quite a lot of pictures anyway. There was one of your, I think, your computer, the Mac. has a hell of a lot of snap pictures.
I think there are some there. Yeah.
And lots of the archive stuff from our early days is in there as well. So
yeah, and we've got the big hard drive that's been taken out of the big old computer.
Yes.
And, you know, I'll just pause this quickly. I'll join it together in a second. Sorry, Maddie, what did you say?
Liz is here.
Okay. So, Hugh, when, you know, eventually Snap ran down because of all the funding issues and the way that funding for the arts changed, what you carried on with some of your work, didn't you, when you left?
yeah, what I got into was I produced 2 books. One was Old and New Luton, and then I got loads of. I was doing Christmas cards of Luton, like tailor-made, and it was just a little hobby on the side, but I kind of sold quite a lot.
Yeah.
So, and there was a big demand for it for a couple of years. So, and then I stopped doing that, and then after that, it was all looking after. Totally dedicated to looking after my mum and dad. I was basically helping my sisters, who were the main carers, and I was the assistant basically. But it was dedication. So, and I had to help run my dad's business a little bit, sort of doing work around properties and stuff.
So that took you out of the arts world for a bit. But
totally, yeah.
do you think things like, you know, Facebook and all that kind of those things that help people to get back into the arts?
The potential is there, whether through Facebook, but a platform similar to Facebook, yeah, there is lots of potential as networking, like a community of people in the town, all on a specific site, and they've got their own code so it doesn't get hacked, and they can get on there and communicate and create, but you won't get nothing like we had in 33 days.
No, I think half the problem there is because just the way the arts are funded, you know, the money goes to big organisations and doesn't filter down to...
It doesn't trickle down, no. It goes. It's like one of those paintings on the wall in the town centre.
Yeah.
He got 15,000 for that, and it was allocated for a local artist. And then I found out that he was classified as a local artist because he was at Luton Uni for 3 months to classify him as a local artist. And I thought, what a scam! Yeah. And it was the worst piece of work I've seen on the wall. Do you know which one I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. That's they have to stick Love Luton in front of it to cover it up.
Crazy,
absolute crazy. That actually sickened the arts. It actually made me think, why is a local political council running an art scene? Arts is for everyone, not just for politics.
Yeah, because money tends to get thrown at different communities now, whereas before everyone mingled together, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly. That's what the community should be. It's a thing for people to be together, not paying for a division amongst us, because that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
So it's because of popularism. You know, everyone wants to be popular. They want to look popular and do things that look popular for them. So,
now we're past COVID and all that stuff. What are you going to do creatively now, do you think, for yourself?
at the moment, I'm kind of spinning a little idea with a movie. I doubt if I'm ever going to make this movie, but I enjoy kind of thinking about it. So it's a zombie film, and it's time travel and stuff like that. I haven't storyboarded it yet, but it's something that I might do as a hobby on the side and see if someone likes to make it. But it'll be a short film, but really interesting. There's a loop in it, in the whole thing. The whole thing's about this particular loop. So.
And what about going back to some of, going full circle back and doing some paintings again?
I've thought about paintings. I just got to get my... When I used to paint years ago, before photography, I used to paint quite a lot. I could never just sit down on a blank canvas and, I had to really think about what I'm going to paint, or else I wouldn't do it. So it's coming up with something that bites me and draws me in. It's that I've got to get back.
Yeah, do you miss, like on the last little note about all of this, do you miss the kind of communities that we used to have in terms of people working together?
I think it was because I remember people from all cultures, races, all coming to 33, working together. There was not a problem in the world. Everyone it was a lovely sort of environment, where now it's totally different nowadays. It's like government is encouraging division, and it's like they're making a massive mistake, but that's what they're doing. So
yeah, it's like reinventing the wheel, isn't it?
Exactly.
All the time.
Yeah. So
Hughie, thanks so much for all of that, and
that's a pleasure, man.
we'll keep in touch. And thanks so much for coming in. Thanks.
Yeah, that's okay. Thank you very much, Paul.